My phone is basically an extension of my hand. Alarm clock, news, social life, DJ, TV, all in one. It's the first thing I reach for in the morning and the last thing I put down at night. Every part of my day is somehow connected to a screen, and honestly, I never really thought about how much I relied on it. I wake up, check notifications, scroll Instagram, ask Google, my life runs on screens. Even before I get out of bed, I've already caught up on the latest memes, news, and group chats. It's like my brain needs that digital jumpstart just to function. It's efficient, convenient, and honestly, I never questioned it. Multitasking feels effortless. Music in the background, messages popping up, videos playing, it's just how things are now. But then I wondered, what if I just stopped? No phone, no laptop, no TV for 24 hours. Could I even do it? Would I lose my mind? Or would I discover something new about myself? The idea was terrifying. What if I missed something? What if I got bored? The anxiety was real. My mind raced with all the things I'd be cut off from. Messages, updates, even just background noise. Still, I decided to try. I set up an old alarm clock, powered down my devices and put them away. It felt almost ceremonial, like I was preparing for some kind of digital cleanse. My apartment suddenly felt like a tech graveyard. Smart speaker, thermostat, TV, all silent. The hum of electronics was gone, replaced by a strange, heavy quiet. The silence was spooky, like the start of a post-apocalyptic movie. Every little creak in the apartment felt louder, and the emptiness was almost unsettling. My friends laughed. "You? Without your phone? You'll last 2 hours." They couldn't imagine me unplugged, and honestly, neither could I. Their doubt made me more determined. I wanted to prove them wrong, and maybe prove something to myself too. I wanted to prove I could survive, maybe even thrive, without the constant ping of notifications. Maybe I'd find some peace in the quiet. How hard could it be? People did it for thousands of years. Maybe I'd rediscover something I'd been missing all along. I was about to find out if a digital native could go back to basics. It felt like stepping into a time machine, back to a world before constant connection. Spoiler, it was way harder and way weirder than I ever imagined. The urge to reach for my phone was almost automatic, but I was ready to see what happened when I unplugged. I wanted to know what life felt like without the constant buzz of technology. The experiment was about to begin, and I had no idea what to expect. My day began with chaos. The kind of chaos that comes not from noise, but from the sudden absence of everything I usually rely on. The old alarm clock screamed me awake, its shrill ring jarring in the quiet room, so different from the gentle chime of my phone. Instinctively, I reached for my phone, nothing there. My hand hovered, confused, as if the device might magically appear. No emails, no weather, no news, just me and my thoughts, which felt louder than ever in the silence. Making coffee was a struggle. My fancy machine was useless, so I fumbled with a French press, spilling grounds and water in my sleepy haze. Breakfast? No microwave, no blender. Even the toaster looked suspiciously high-tech, so I avoided it. I nearly burned my eggs because I couldn't check the time. I hovered over the pan, second-guessing every sizzle. The silence was the strangest part. No podcasts, no music, just the hum of the fridge and the occasional creak of the house. My thumb kept twitching, wanting to unlock a phone that wasn't there. It was like my body was on autopilot, searching for a fix. Without screens, I felt lost. My routine was actually a series of digital cues, and now I was left with blank spaces. I was just a person in a quiet room with slightly burnt eggs, feeling antsy and unproductive, unsure what to do next. It was only 9 a.m., I think, and I already regretted everything. The day stretched ahead, endless and intimidating. The digital detox felt less like a wellness retreat and more like punishment. I felt trapped in my own home. I realized how much I relied on tech for structure and comfort, for distraction and even a sense of purpose. Every minute dragged. I was a tech addict in withdrawal, pacing the room, desperate for something to fill the void. The urge to check my phone was a physical craving. My mind kept inventing reasons to reach for it, only to remember it was gone. I missed the noise, the stimulation, the sense of connection. Even the endless notifications seemed comforting in hindsight. The day had barely started, and I was already struggling. My mind raced with worries about how I'd fill the hours. How was I going to survive the rest of it? The thought of an entire day without my digital lifelines was overwhelming. This was going to be rough, and it was only the beginning. Errands without tech? Total disaster. I had to find my wallet and go to the bank for cash. Felt like a time traveler. Paying with bills was awkward. My pockets weren't ready for all that change. Next, I needed to get to a bookstore. No GPS, just a giant, confusing paper map. Unfolding it was a workout. The streets looked like spaghetti. I missed turns, got lost, and had to ask a stranger for directions. It was humbling, but also kind of funny. At the bookstore, I paid with cash. The cashier looked surprised. Everything took longer and required way more effort. I realized how much tech smooths out life's rough edges. Without it, I had to think, plan, and interact with the world directly. I felt both incompetent and strangely alive. The smallest tasks became adventures. I missed the ease of apps, but I noticed more around me. Life was clunky but real. I was learning just how much I depended on my digital safety net. By afternoon, boredom hit hard. No shows, no YouTube, no TikTok, just silence and my restless brain. I wandered my apartment, desperate for distraction. I tried reading, but my mind craved digital hits. Ghost notifications haunted me. I kept thinking I felt my phone vibrate. FOMO was real. I felt cut off from the world. I alphabetized my spice rack, tried juggling oranges, scribbled in a notebook. My handwriting was terrible. My brain felt out of shape. The free time was shocking. I never realized how many moments I filled with my phone. Without tech, I had to sit with my own thoughts, and it was uncomfortable. I was just a bored, restless person missing cat videos and memes. Just as I was about to lose it, something shifted. It was subtle at first, a gentle pause in the chaos, a moment where everything seemed to slow down. I realized I'd been running on autopilot, barely noticing the world around me. Sitting by the window, I started to actually see things, the sunlight streaming through the leaves, the way the shadows danced on the floor, kids laughing in the distance, a bird carefully building its nest. These small details felt like gifts I'd overlooked for so long. The silence became peaceful, not empty. It was filled with gentle sounds, the hum of the house, the distant chirping of birds, my own steady breathing. I realized silence could be comforting, even nourishing. My brain finally relaxed, the anxiety faded. I felt a sense of relief, like I'd been holding my breath for months and could finally exhale. I realized how much stress came from constant notifications and being always on. The endless pings and alerts had kept me in a state of constant tension, always waiting for the next interruption. I went for a walk, no podcast, no GPS, just me and the world. For the first time in ages, I let my mind wander, noticing the rhythm of my footsteps and the breeze on my skin. I noticed details I'd always missed, patterns on old brick walls, the curve of architecture, the way people smiled at each other as they passed by. The city felt alive in a way I'd forgotten. The world felt brighter, clearer, more real. Every color seemed more vivid, every sound more distinct, as if I was experiencing everything for the first time. Cooking dinner was slower, more mindful. I savored every bite, appreciating the flavors and the effort it took to prepare a meal with intention. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was missing out. Instead, I felt content, grateful for the quiet moments and the simple joys. I felt like I'd gained something, presence, peace, clarity. It was as if I'd finally come home to myself. Disconnecting from tech let me reconnect with the real world. I found beauty in the ordinary and meaning in the quiet. The boredom was a hurdle, but on the other side was calm. I learned that stillness isn't emptiness. It's space for something new to grow. I felt grounded in a way I hadn't in years. The earth beneath my feet, the air on my skin reminded me of what really matters. The analog world had its own kind of magic. I was finally present, and it felt good to simply be right here, right now. As the 24 hours ended, I felt both relief and regret. I was excited to reconnect, but reluctant to lose the calm I'd found. The experiment showed me a slower, more deliberate way of living. I noticed small details, made real connections, and rediscovered my imagination. Turning my phone back on was overwhelming. A flood of notifications felt like an intrusion. What once seemed essential now felt stressful. I survived without tech. The world didn't end. My friends were still there. I hadn't missed anything truly important, but I'd gained a new perspective. Tech isn't bad, it's a tool. But it shouldn't run our lives. It's about balance, about knowing when to unplug. I felt more grounded, mindful, and connected to the real world. The analog life had its rewards. I was a participant, not just a spectator, and I didn't want to lose that feeling. So, what's the takeaway? My digital blackout was wild, chaotic, boring, then unexpectedly peaceful. I learned I'm more dependent on tech than I thought, but I can live without it. Now I'm making space for more tech-free moments, leaving my phone in another room, walking without headphones. It's not about ditching tech forever, but using it intentionally. I challenge you. Could you go 24 hours unplugged? It's harder than it sounds, but you'll learn something about yourself. Try it, see what you discover. Share your story. Did you survive? Go crazy? Find something new? Let's talk about what it really means to be connected. Are you ready to unplug?